friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Tonya. In today's video we're going to be doing an April Showers TBR. Now I don't know what it's like where you are, but we're coming into spring here, and for the next month it's pretty much rain in the forecast. We have tons of rainy days, which we all know April showers bring May flowers, but in the meantime, you know, we're going from sunny day to rainy, dreary, cloudy day. So I thought it'd be fun to do just a little twist on my regular TBR and do an April showers version. Now I will be posting all of these prompts on the community tab on my channel. That way, if you want to make your own April showers TBR, you have all the prompts that I used. And if you do decide to do an April showers TBR of your own, I'd love to know the books you came up with to go with the various prompts. So either just leave those over as a comment on the community post or leave it down in the comments below of this video, and we can all get some ideas of other April shower TBR books. So for the first prompt, we're looking for a book with rain or water on the cover. And for this one, I chose A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. I recently picked this up in a haul. It's a beautiful book. Pretty popular one too. There is going to be a sequel to it coming out in July, and I believe that one's called A Study in Dreaming. So in this book, our main character, Effie, is a big fairy tale fan, and she ends up, just kind of by chance, going to her favorite author's estate, and while she's there, she stumbles upon a scholar from her literary college named Preston, and he's basically there to prove that her favorite author is actually a fraud. So she basically ends up going along with Preston, pretending like she's helping him out in order to prove that he is the one that is actually wrong and that her favorite author is not in fact a fraud. But while they're doing their investigating, it ends up the house holds a lot of secrets, and that some of the author's stories may in fact have way more truth than they both realized. It's basically a rivals to lovers scenario, you know, just with some other fun fantasy, dark fantasy elements thrown in. So I've only heard good things about this book, so definitely looking forward to this one and glad I could put it on my April TBR list. Now for prompt number 2, since it's April showers, we're doing a book featuring a storm in some way. For this one, I chose Iron and Embers. It's part of the Thesmar world by Helen Scherer. I'm not sure how to say her last name, but as you know, I am terrible with pronouncing names, so that's just what we're gonna go with. But basically, it is a duology based off the Legends of Thesmar, which is a 5-book series set in the same world. The duology is called The Ashes of Thesmar, and in this book we're following 2 of the characters from that first series who we started to see kind of a budding romance from. So we're following Ren, who is an alchemist. She is also a storm wielder, so has magic to make storms, which is why I chose this book for this prompt. But basically, besides being a storm wielder, she is an alchemist. And around 5 years ago, Thesmar had a great war, and she is still kind of caught up in the losses that were suffered in that war, and she's out still looking for revenge for her friends that had fallen, and that revenge has kind of started to take over her life. The kind of love interest in this story, his name is Torge, and we did meet him in the previous book as well, and he is a war sword, so powerful, strong, male warrior. Like I said, there was a little bit of a budding romance in the previous book, so it's no surprise that these two are now starring in a duology together. But here's the description of this book. Ren Impervale, alchemist turned assassin, finds solace in only one thing: seeking vengeance for the death of her friends. The wars of the past may be over, but her thirst for revenge is far from quenched. For years she has been content with her poisons and potions for company, but when an unknown form of alchemy is being used to attack a king of the Midrealms, Ren's time in the shadows comes to an end. She's offered a place at the ancient alchemy academy of Drevenor to find a cure to the dark magic threatening the kingdoms. To win her spot, she must conquer the Gauntlet, a grueling series of deadly trials that could cost her her sanity or her life. More is at play than sabotage from fellow competitors. Magic wielders are being targeted, and Ren becomes tangled in a dangerous web of deception and bloodshed that puts the entire realm at risk. But the biggest threat of all might come from the man assigned to protect her, Torge Elderbrock, the silver-haired war hero who has hated her since she assassinated his last charge. Their shared history ignites a simmering tension that threatens to consume them both. Peace is fragile, trust is scarce, and enemies lurk around every corner. Will love heal all wounds, or will it be the most lethal poison of all? So, definitely gonna have a lot of romantic tension in it. It'll be interesting to see if any of the other characters from the previous series are also in this duology. I really enjoyed both Ren and Torge. In the previous series, we saw them grow a whole lot, and I'm definitely hoping we see continued growth from them in this book as well. Our third prompt is a book with spring in the title. Now, this was one I didn't really have a plan for. I wasn't really, it's kind of hard to find a fantasy book with spring in the title, in my opinion. I was not aware of any. So I kind of had to do a search to come up with a book, and I did find one. It was available on Kindle Unlimited, so perfect, and it's called Spring's Descent. And it is a dark fantasy romance. Not sure how I ended up with so many romanticities on this particular TBR, but that's just kind of how it played out. Because I do think I have another romantasy for one of the other prompts as well. So apparently in April, love is also in the air. But just a little bit about this book. It is called Spring's Descent, and it's a Sinful Seasons novel. The author is C.L. Breyer, and like I said, it's a Kindles Unlimited book. And here's a little, outtake or description of the book. And from this description, you're definitely going to see the dark romantasy portion, because it most definitely has a dark feel to it. I've been stalking her for years. My little witch was always just out of reach, but tonight I've gotten her scent. She could run as fast and as far as she liked. It made no difference. I would find her, and when I did, I'd drag my little witch to the underworld to be my bride, my queen, my goddess forever. So, like I said, a little on the dark side, but I think it could be fun as dark can be. I was powerless against his shadows, unable to do anything as the demon split the earth and the realm of the living fell away. He expected me to be terrified, but my life had already ended before he captured me. Death magic was ravaging our world, claiming hundreds of souls, and my 21st birthday was next month, the night when my life would be sacrificed to strengthen the weakening earth coven. I thought Hades was my damnation, but he might just hold the key to awakening my magic and saving us all. So this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. It's, like I said, a dark romance. It's an enemies to lovers trope. Now, it does mention that there are some darker themes within the book that could be triggering, so that's just something to be aware of. But I think that's also the case with a lot of the dark romanticities, is they can have some themes that may be a little hard for some people to read, may not be something that's considered a healthy relationship out in our real world. But I thought this book sounded really intriguing. I know nothing about it other than the description and that it has spring in the title. So we'll kind of just see how this one plays out. Now for the fourth prompt, I'm doing a best of April 2024 fantasy based off of GoodReads ratings. And for this one, I am choosing 5 Broken Blades. And it is part of the Broken Blades trilogy by May Corland. And this book is pretty popular. I've heard that this first book in the series is better than the next book, but only way to find out is to read the series. And a little bit about this book. that will pull you right in, I might add, is It's the Season for Treason. The king of Yusan must die. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective: to kill the God King June. He has it coming. Under his merciless immortal hand, the nobles flourish while the poor and the innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder. They can agree on treachery. But for these 5 killers, each versed in deceptions, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other, but only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win. So, I haven't, like I said, read this book, but I've seen a lot of reviews on it. I think it sounds like a really interesting concept, so looking forward to reading it and the rest of the series. As I said, I heard that maybe the first book is the best in the series, but I really like the concept of these, of these basically world-class liars coming together and trying to unite to overthrow this God King. But yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. Now, do I need to be starting another series? No. Am I going to do it anyway? Yes. For the 5th prompt, it's an April new release, and for this one I ended up with another dark fantasy romance. I chose Enchantra, and it comes out on April 8th. And it is by Kaylee Smith, and it's book 2 in the Wicked Games series she has. The first book is Phantasma. They are standalone books in the series, so you don't have to have read Phantasma in order to read Enchantra. I have not read Phantasma yet. If I enjoy this book, I may go back and read that one. I kind of like the flexibility of being able to do the books out of order for at least one of the series that I'm reading. But for this one, like I said, it is another dark romantasy. And a little description of this one is, welcome to Enchantra. There's only one rule. Never ever trust your heart. When Genevieve Grimm's mother is killed, Genevieve wants answers nobody can give, until she receives an invitation to Enchantra, a cursed palace filled with temptations and illusions. Arrogant and dangerously handsome, Rowan Silver meets her at the door and refuses to let her inside. But Genevieve finds her own way in, and soon realizes her mistake. Enchantra is a twisted labyrinth of marble and thorns where Rowan's family are trapped forever in a deadly game. Now Genevieve must win or die. Rowan offers her a deal. They can compete together if they convince everyone watching that they're desperately in love. Genevieve knows she can't trust Rowan, but she'll do whatever it takes to survive. As they hunt and hide together, Genevieve tries to ignore the desire burning between them. She absolutely cannot fall for this man. Cannot forget that she's only pretending to love him. After all, it was Rowan who taught her Enchantra's first rule. Never, ever trust your heart. It is kind of that fake dating trope that is somewhat popular right now. But also in the description it says that the characters are morally gray, and I kind of love a morally gray character. So it's going to be interesting to see the characters' dynamics and personalities and see which exact morals are the gray ones. But I just think it adds a little extra dimension to characters when they do have that some grayness in some of their morality. So we'll see. We'll see what we think of this one. And then the final prompt is continuing a series. Now, I gave myself a freebie where it didn't have to be necessarily April themed. And as I said, I am in a lot of series that I need to continue on with. But for this one, I chose the 3rd book in the Emily Wilde series, which is a compendium of lost tales. This series is a cozy fantasy series by Heather Fawcett, and I've read the previous 2 books in the previous 2 months, so I wanted to finish up the series this month. So in these books, we've been following Emily Wilde, who is a renowned scholar. She is best known for all things fairy and fae, and we followed her along in the previous books as she's wrote her fairy encyclopedia and also put together a map of the fairy lands. And while she was doing all of that work, there was also a love story involved with her former academic rival named Wendell, who ended up being an exiled fae king. So in this 3rd book, we're following Emily and Wendell back into the fairy realms, where Wendell is going to take back his place as the fae king, and Emily, as his fiance, will be becoming a fae queen. And as you know, with the fae, nothing comes easily, so I'm sure there will be some twists and turns along the way, and I'm really looking forward to seeing just how this story finishes out. So those were all my April Shower TBR prompts. I do also plan on listening to Quicksilver as an audiobook this month. I've had that one queued up for a long time, but I'm just now getting around to listening to it. So looking forward to seeing how much I like that one, because that seems to kind of be a polarizing book. You either love it or you hate it, so hopefully I will love it, but wanted to listen to it either way just to see what all the hype was about. And then, yeah, that's basically it for my April TBR. So, like I said, if you do plan on following these prompts yourself, let me know what you're going to be reading for each one of them down below in the comments or over on the community tab where I leave the prompts in a post. So take care, keep reading, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!